Diego Pavia adds another preseason accolade. Vanderbilt's offense are they hitting their stride? I think so, and this is exciting.
You are Locked On Vandy, your daily podcast on the Vanderbilt Commodores, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome into the Locked On Vandy podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Corey Burton. Thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen each and every day. Shout out to you everydayers. Shout out to however you got here, whether you're on the YouTube side or the podcast side. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And a reminder, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you're enjoying what you're seeing. So today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Man, that's outstanding. Speaking of outstanding, Vanderbilt had a bounce back practice. Clark Lea was worried about the juice, the sloppiness, the whatever, the doldrums of day 6 on Tuesday. Clark Lea's not so worried about it now. They had a great day of practice coming into the weekend, getting ready for the scrimmage on Saturday. This is going to be a fun offseason, as I keep saying. But the offense has found a way to start hitting their stride. They have reemerged, had a great day. The quarterbacks are all battling. It's a intense competition there. You've got some receivers that are stepping up. One in particular that they just can't seem. It's just every single practice, he seems to find his way into the headlines. He seems to find his way into that positive attention. He's going to find his way into a lot of football for Vanderbilt if he keeps up this trend. Also, defense, they didn't get dominated, but I think things were about as even as you wanted to be. Jalen Lackey had a really nice day. I think the cornerback position is experiencing some up and downs and some guys fighting for reps and things like that. And with that, guys are going to have good days. Guys are going to have bad days. Jalen Lackey had his bad days early. He's starting to kind of rebound a little bit, so that's good, and we'll talk about that. And then, like I said, the offense versus defense is exactly where you want it to be. The competitive balance is exactly where you want it to be to feel good about the season and not be like, oh, our offense is really good and our defense sucks, or vice versa. Like our defense is dominating, but our offense, they can't do anything. They can't, it's whatever. So, but I want to talk about this offense, man, because with offense, it is very customary. It is not surprising to anyone in the world and any program in America that the offense usually takes more time to get up to par. The defense, because defense is more reactionary. I mean, you have your plan, you have your stuff, you have things install-wise, but it's not timing-based. It's very reactionary. It's very much fundamentally sound. Being in the right place at the right time and making the play when it comes to you. Offense is knowing, I think the knowledge base for offense is a lot deeper. I think you have to know and anticipate how the defense is going to defend you and where they're going to be. You have to time things up, like your steps, your breaks, your whatever. Even on the offensive line, you have to be in sync. One guy's off sync, you get a gap, and somebody runs through it and blows up the play. Like there's a lot of timing things you have to worry about as an offensive football player. So with that concept, you're going to have days where you struggle. Like it's kind of like golf in a sense, where like if you're on, dude, you are on fire. It is good. Everything is great. It seems like you can't miss. And then when things aren't going your way, or defense is playing good, or they're doing something unanticipated or whatever, it can seem like it avalanches you in a hurry. And then all of a sudden you are just struggling mightily. And with that, it gets kind of tough to really, and the good teams can kind of balance their confidence with those ebb and flows. Like their confidence doesn't wane like you think it probably should. Like the good teams just kind of, hey, this is part of the process. We still feel really good about what we're doing. I think that's what Vanderbilt has been doing in this scenario. Like they felt really good about what they're doing. So when they do hit those valleys, it's not a big deal. they just kind of just keep pushing forward. So Diego Pavia was named to the Davey O'Brien watch list today. So that's some exciting news. It just means that like the more of these watch lists, and I know they're just watch lists, and I get it. Like there's like 80 people on the list, and it's not as prestigious as being a semifinalist or a finalist. But was he on these lists last year? No, he wasn't one of the top 80 quarterbacks in America last year. Now he's one of the most famous quarterbacks in America, and he's proven that he can produce at this level. So he's going to be on these watch lists. I don't know if he's going to win it. I think it's fairly wide open because there's a lot of guys on these lists that haven't played a lot of college football. There's a handful that have. Like Cade Klubnik will probably run away with a lot of these awards because he is that guy. But for Diego Pavia to be on this list, I think Diego Pavia will play his way into the semifinalist list, maybe even the finalist list, depending on how many games Vanderbilt actually does win. If they go true to prediction, or if they go true to Vegas, he might not be on anything. But if they go true to like what I'm predicting, he'll be on a lot of things. So it's going to be interesting, but it's very, very good publicity. It puts Vanderbilt in a good light. So no matter what happens with that, I think at the end of the day, when you look at the accolades that they're racking up, you look at this list, and this was the list from one of the earlier episodes this week. Like you add Davey O'Brien to that list for Diego Pavia, you've got some award-winning guys here, some guys that are competing for some pretty prestigious awards, and you've got some guys that are in pretty good positioning to get some great recognition at their respective positions. And that puts Vanderbilt in a good situation because that builds a lot of confidence in the program. The coaches understand that, hey, we got some talent. The fans understand, hey, we got some talent. We better go see this before it ends. Netflix just did a documentary on you. They just released, everything. There's a lot of things going in Vanderbilt's favor right now. And this is just one of them. But also what's happening on the field seems to be backing up what we are talking about off the field. All the confidence that we have off the field, it seems to be backing it up. And that's what makes this thing fun. That's what makes this thing exciting, because I talk about how good Diego Pavia is going to be. I talk about how dominant Eli Stowers is going to be. I talked about when I watched his very little film, very little footage of Tre Richardson at Wabash College, which I just learned from my comments is in Indiana. So thanks for that. What little bit I watched of that, there's something I saw. I knew he was going to be special. He had this extra gear, this extra shiftiness. Like, you have to have a certain mentality to play Division II football. Like that, just if you're going to succeed in Division II football, like there's a certain mentality you have to have because it's different there. So you bring all of that to the table. I'm not surprised that he's succeeding. I'm not in the least bit surprised. I would be probably more surprised if he was average, because he's too talented physically with that Division II hunger to not make it. He's got that chip on his shoulder. He's going to be really good. So the offense is reemerging. They're finding their groove. They're hitting their stride. You got a really nice quarterback battle here. Jack Elliott's making a push, possibly. Drew Dickey's not letting him. Blaise Berlowitz is starting to pull away, but then comes back to the pack and then starts to pull away again. Like this quarterback battle behind Diego Pavia is going to be very, very interesting as well. So this offense had a monster day in the red zone today. Like this is like, I think if you read these practice reports and you see the offense had a really, really nice day in the red zone, I think it's safe to say that if Vanderbilt's a good, great red zone team, it's going to make them dangerous. Like it's going to make them dangerous, because if you can get points most of the time when you're down in the red zone, if you can take advantage of that, like that's what great programs do. They capitalize in the red zone. They put 6 on the board when when 3 is a good score. They put 3 on the board when 3 seems like it's not possible. Like they find ways to get points, and they find ways to extend those points and take advantage of those when you don't think it's possible. They get out of a 3rd and long at the 35 to put themselves in striking range, and then they score a touchdown later. Like they make plays. It's almost like the smaller the field gets, And this is a really good intangible quality that Diego Pavia has that seems to be bleeding through the entire offense. But it seems like the shorter the field, the better they play. And it seemed like that last year. Like, it seemed like anytime they got into the red zone, I think outside of a couple of things, I'm pretty sure they got a lot of points in the red zone. And they were able to capitalize on that. That's how they beat Alabama. That's how they beat Virginia Tech. That's how they won a lot of these games, was they took advantage of the chances they had to get points. And so this is something that, great teams thrive when the field shrinks, right? Because good to average to bad teams wilt because the pressure ratchets it up. When you get inside that 20 in the red area, that pressure cranks, right? It cranks up tenfold. And you got to be able to handle it. If you can't handle it, then you're going to wilt away. You're going to give away those opportunities, and you're going to get 3 when you should have got 6, or get nothing when you should have got 3 or 6 or whatever. Like you're gonna walk away disappointed. And hey, we left point. And anytime you leave, the more chances you leave points out there when you should get them, when it should be a slam dunk, it really puts you behind the 8 ball. It really takes you down a few notches confidence-wise, and it really affects you the rest of the game. Just watch next time you watch a football game, a meaningful football game, not these preseason NFL games, but next time you watch a meaningful football game, watch a team squander an opportunity in the red zone. Watch a team get the ball 1st and 10 from the 15 and come away with nothing. Watch what happens to them the rest of the game. More times than not, their confidence is shot, and they end up losing that game because they squander points when they need to. Like, if you get inside the 20, it ought to be automatic 3, but 3 is even disappointing there. So I think it's good that they won the red zone, and hopefully Saturday it's very similar style. But Diego Pavia making the Davey O'Brien watch list, offense hitting the stride, defense has already been kind of dominant. So it's good that the offense has answered back. It doesn't mean the defense took a step back. It just means the offense took a step forward in this case, because the defense, I think, still won enough reps that they're still considered in good footing. It's not like the offense dominated. The offense had a really good period. The offense is stepping up, which is good. It's not anybody stepping backwards. Like, the defense didn't step back to allow the offense. The offense took the bull by the horns and did that. There's a huge, it doesn't seem like it, but there's a massive difference in that. Like, the defense takes a step back so the offense can take a step forward. No, the defense stayed put. The offense took a step forward, overtook them. There's a massive difference there. So I'm excited about it. The quarterbacks, they're battling it out. How's that going to shake out? All of that, man. It's a fun camp already. It's going to get even more fun. Tre Richardson is an absolute just beast. Can't highlight him enough. We'll talk about all of that next. First, I want to talk about FanDuel, because right now, summer sports are in full swing, and NFL preseason is in full swing. And I'm pretty sure you can bet some over-unders. And for the only time in your life you'll ever put a bet on a third-string quarterback or a fourth-string running back to hit some sort of over-under on carries or yards or something like that. It's pretty wild if you think about it. But you can bet on soccer, golf, all that stuff, man. FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. Like, these preseason games are pretty invigorating when you've got action on them, right? So you're already following it, man. Why not make it a little more thrilling? Like I said, with FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. Think about that. You're placing parlays. Your buddy is placing aloe on his shoulders because he got roasted, right? Don't be that guy. Don't be your friend. Make the money. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether I'm placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet ride all the way into the ninth inning, sweating it out, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action, man. So if you're new to FanDuel, guess what, man? Customers can bet just $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. So open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Locked On Vandy. Thanks for making us for your first listen. Shout out to you everydayers. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to you first timers. People that are just now strolling by and happen to peek over and say, oh, it's Locked On Vandy. Check it out. Right? Thanks for making us part of your day. Thanks for making us part of your listening rotation. If you need another listen, if you need another watch, go check out Locked On SEC. Chris Gordy, phenomenal job there. Does, covering the entire conference, with all the camps in full swing, all the injuries, all the NIL, all the whatever, in the 20 different directions. Chris Gordy's right on top of it, dude. He is, when you talk about, I don't use this word lightly or loosely. When you talk about rock star, that's Chris Gordy, man. He's just dominant in the coverage. So speaking of dominant, man, like some guys are stepping up like this, like reading these reports, keeping up with things last year versus this year, especially offensively, is night and day. Defense has been kind of steadily doing their thing. So unfortunately for them, they're still like pretty dang good. It's just not to a level to where like you're surprised about it because you're just kind of expect that out of the defense. The offense, if you knew where this offense was at this point last year versus this year, it's night and day. You got receivers stepping up, which we didn't hear about. I wasn't sure that the offense knew how to move the ball. Like I was kind of unsure if they knew how to huddle or knew how to really do anything. Diego Pavia hadn't taken things over yet at that point. Like we were still trying to figure out who was going to do what, when, where, and how. And none of that had come together. Like the Virginia Tech game was to me, it was an utter shock, right? Even though I said they were going to win, I predicted the win. I wasn't exactly at a certain point. I was like, I still think they're going to win, but I'm not really sure how they're going to do it. Like, I'm not really sure how they're going to execute this thing. I just know that they're going to somehow, some way. It's just going to come out to where they win, or if they don't, they're going to at least cover. So I said, take Vandy plus 13.5, and they didn't let me down. And they actually shocked me because coming up to that point, it's like, okay, they had their moments, but like this offense really hadn't taken off yet. Now it's a totally different feel. Now it's like, okay, like we got some exciting pieces floating around. Like we've got Diego Pavia who's taking it to another level. We've got backup quarterbacks that make you feel good about if something happens, God forbid something happens to Diego Pavia. Like there's some guys that you feel pretty good about. Like Blaise Berlitz, you feel pretty good about. I mean, you don't feel like warm and fuzzy like you would with Diego Pavia in there, but you don't feel like there's going to be a severe drop-off. There's going to be somewhat of a drop-off, but you don't feel like it's going to be drastic. So that's exciting. You have wide receivers that you can actually know their name and talk about them. We didn't really have that. Like, wasn't really sure. Like Quincy Skinner was just kind of up and down. Junior Sherrill was still kind of figuring some things out. Like the other guys, I didn't know if they even made it out to practice at some points. Like we just didn't know what was going on. And I felt like at times I was just kind of like trying to drum up something, trying to find a little nugget somewhere that I could get excited about and run with. This year, it's not the case. Like this year, I'm like, oh, like every time I tap into the resources, it's Tre Richardson does this. Tre Richardson did that. Blaise Berlitz had another great day. Defense did this. Oh, this guy, he struggled early. Now he's dominating. Like it's like it's just never. I feel like it's a never-ending string of like positive, upbeat, confident things, and that's really good. Like Tre Richardson. Here's what was said about him, and I think this was Blaise Berlitz on talking about Tre Richardson, I believe, is if I read that quote right. It's nice knowing that you're lining up, that you have a deep threat, someone that can take the top off. If you have time, that's where you go. The explosive piece helps the quarterback out. And that is what Tre Richardson is in a nutshell. And you see this picture right here. That's another way they're going to use Tre Richardson right there. Like that's an end around. But like that quote makes me feel like I have a settled answer on that question. Who's the deep threat? Who's the guy that's going to stretch it vertically? Who's the guy that's going to be able to do the things that we need them to do? And Tre Richardson is not just your slot. I mean, he is a slot, but he's not just your slot that's going to be your gadget guy and be a jet sweep guy and occasionally run a screen. Like he can do all of that, yes. But like he's a guy that's going to run a post over the middle. deep against a safety who's going to try somehow to cover him. Like, this guy is going to pose some problems for opponents. And I can't wait to see what he does in a full live scrimmage, because these team periods are somewhat controlled. I think the red zone period was kind of more of like a live scrimmage situation. But I'm curious to see kind of what he does completely cut loose. Like, I think Junior Sherrill's going to be a special dude. Like, when I think of Junior Sherrill, I think of him as being a perfect off the ball outside guy. And I've said it all along, he's great in the slot too. He's just great lining up. Like, I think he's proving and he's adding that other dimension to his game. Like, I think this time last year, I would have been like, yeah, he's perfect in the slot. And even all winter and spring, I was like, need to get some guys that's going to push Junior Sherrill to the inside where he's a good natural fit. Now, Junior Sherrill, I think, is doing the great job of, and I'm watching preseason football as I talk, so pardon me. He's doing a great job of like proving that he can be an outside guy and he can do things out there. I don't think he's an X. I don't think he's ever going to be an on the ball type guy. But he's definitely an off the ball guy. He's going to move around. He's going to create mismatches. He's going to change the strength on you. He's going to do a lot of things that you want a dynamic receiver to do. And you have two of those guys in him and Tre Richardson. Richardson's probably more of a natural slot than Junior Sherrill. And then you have another guy. I don't know who the true X is going to be. Trent Hudson is banged up right now. Chance Fitzgerald is struggling. I don't know who that other receiver is going to be. Maybe they get in some formations to where that's Eli Stowers. Who knows? That's how creative they can get with this thing. But Tre Richardson is absolutely crushing it coming into camp in his first year as a Commodore. So hats off to him. Hats off to all of that. So, but you talk about competitive balance, and I talked about it a little bit off top of the show. It's right where it needs to be. I'm going to tell you why and how next. Hey, welcome back. We are wrapping up the show here, Locked On Vandy. Thanks for making us part of your day. Thanks for making us your first listen. And if you stuck around to the third segment, thank you for being a loyal third segment listener. So yesterday's episode, we talked about a little bit about the Tennessee game. I'm gonna highlight some more of the games that are on the schedule, but I wanted to kind of talk about that Tennessee game a little bit, even though there's going to be a lot of things that are answered between now and then. So the prognosis of that game is going to look completely different, I'm sure, by the time we get there. So but I want to talk a little bit about the competitive balance at practice, because I think that's kind of a hot button issue when you're trying to, as a fan, when you're reading these reports and you're trying to digest, like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is what I'm reading something to be excited about, or should I be worried, or whatever the case may be? Like, I think you get in those situations thinking, like, you read a report like, oh, the offense dominated red zone today. Immediately, negative fan goes to, oh God, our defense sucks in the red zone. Their teams just get inside the 20. You might as well just take defense off the field. Like, that's where people's minds go to. And I don't think that's necessarily true, right? Because for the defense, like, this may be the first time they're working on some situations. Like, this is a Steve Gregory defense. Like, he's got to figure some things out scripting wise. They may be working different coverages and trying to, there's a lot of factors that go into this. So to be worried about it, I mean, I guess it's legitimate. I guess it's a valid concern to be worried about that. I mean, it's not completely out of the ordinary, but I think you have to consider these elements, right? I think you have to consider the variables of, well, what if the defense is working on certain coverages, or what if they're working on certain red zone packages? They're trialing, some new looks, some new fronts, some new personnel. Like, they're trialing some guys in different places, right? They're seeing what they have. And they know after this period, there's going to be a lot of things that are probably not going to be the same when this situation comes back up again. Probably new personnel, mostly. They're probably going to go away from certain coverages in these situations, knowing how teams might try to attack them. Vanderbilt, the offense, will obviously do their thing. I don't think they'll see another offense just like Vanderbilt, but it's interesting to kind of see just how that all plays out offensively. You hear about that and you're thinking, simultaneously while you're thinking the defense sucks and you're like, oh crap, this is terrible. Like, what are we doing here? Simultaneously, you're probably on the other side of the coin thinking, okay, this offense is going to be electric. They're going to be, and that's a good positive thought. Like that's also a valid thought, a valid piece of excitement. However, you have to pump the brakes because of those factors I talked about on defense. You also may have situations to where things are just right. Like timing is a very fleeting thing. Like that can go out the window tomorrow. You get a kick up in the wind, that could be thrown all off. You get a guy that's just, you get a guy that is not quite in tune with his timing, and he takes 4 steps instead of 3, and he's late in his break. Diego Pavia takes a sack because he's not ready. Like those little things like that can be thrown off, right? And I don't want to sound negative about that and be like, pump the brakes, because I want to encourage as much excitement as possible because I think this team's going to be special. All right. I think the defense is there. Like the defense is going to be better in the red zone because of these situations, right? Because of these competitive situations. Like I think people just get lost in the minutia of, the competitiveness is good in knowing that these guys are going to get those high pressure, high competitive reps. It's not so good into thinking like you might lull yourself into thinking that they're better than they are also. But as a fan, like, do we really worry about all that? Like as a fan, you just say, hey, you take the good, take the bad, you just keep it pushing, right? Let's just read about it tomorrow and see how it is. You just want consistency and you just want balance, right? Because if you have balance, if you have defense, and defense wants some reps and some other team periods, some other live periods, so that's good. They're like, I think when you read these practice reports, and much like I said in the spring, like you want the offense to, you want to read, okay, the offense won this period, they look good doing X, Y, Z. Defense looked good doing X, Y, Z in this period. They won here, they didn't win here. They can fix this here. They can build off that there. And you just kind of take it as, okay, these are great competitive reps. It's building that callus. It's building that competitive toughness within this team. And it's making sure that these guys, when they get in that situation against a team that doesn't know them, right? So like conversely, if the defense dominated the red zone period today, like that's okay. They know the offense. They know the personnel. They know everything. So if that's the case, then when you're going against somebody that doesn't know you, like you're going to be able to get them on a couple of things. And if you can get your own defense, if you can get your own offense, then because the offense knows the defense knows the offense really well. So there's that element too of like these guys are just playing the play, right? These guys are just playing like, hey, I know they're going to be there, so like they look extra anticipatory. Or they do this or that or whatever, like however you judge them, just know that there's that level of knowledge. And so you grade it on that scale and understand that like everything's going to look, if it's tough and competitive and gritty and whatever, high pressure in practice, when you flip that into a game, the pressure is going to be equal or greater, but you're going to be calmer in those scenarios because you know that you did it against a team that knows what you're doing versus a team that doesn't. That gives you supreme confidence, and it allows you to put the ball across the end zone, or it allows you to be in a place to make the play to prevent the touchdown and to force the field goal attempt. Like you're in those situations to where it's always good, win or lose on these reps. It's always good to get these reps if you get in the film room and you learn from it. And so I think as fans, you should kind of like think that way a little bit, almost. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to think, but I think it's good food for thought. Like I think it's a good perspective to consider is like consider what's good. Because I preach positive mindset. So like, because anybody can be negative, right? Like you could get 1 million people in here to sit in this seat and just come in here and just rail on everything and be negative and, oh, this sucks. Oh, Diego Pavia had a bad day. Are we concerned? Those things, yeah, they probably sell. People thrive on the negative, and I could probably get 1 million views being negative and being a Grinch and, cranky or grouchy or whatever you want to say. But I'm just not that way. It would not be a genuine show if I was up here being freaking negative Norberto all the time. Right? It just would not be it would not be nothing genuine about that. And so I like to find that positive, even if it's like last year. I found the tiny nugget of positivity from a terrible day and just kind of latched onto it and watched that grow, man. Watch it snowball. So as fans, my perspective is this. Just be excited, man. Like, I've been through the whole negative phase. I've been through the whole, just feeling like one mistake, going through the downward spiral. Like, I've been through that as a fan too. I've kind of grown out of that a little bit, but just hey, Vanderbilt's in a hell of a run right now. Just enjoy it, right? Don't make trouble. Don't borrow trouble. Just enjoy the run, man. And however long it lasts, just enjoy the run. And enjoy the fact that Vanderbilt seems to be figuring things out, man. And that's what I'm going to leave you with coming into the weekend. The scrimmage is going to be exciting. I can't wait to read about who's doing what. Somebody's going to succeed on Saturday. Somebody's going to need to work on some things after Saturday. So knowing that, I feel pretty good about the direction of this team. I feel really good about the leadership of this team. I think they have a great plan going forward. I think they have a good process of evaluation. I think they have a good process of improvement. I think they've got a lot of systems in place that are going to help them be successful. And with all of that, it's going to be an exciting year. So buckle up, enjoy the ride, and let's make it through the football season, because it is rapidly approaching. But have a great weekend. If you make it out to the scrimmage, if it's open to the public, be careful, enjoy it, have fun. We'll see you back here next time. Locked on Vandy, anchor down. Peace.